and I linked a story here from the Intelligencer. But it looks like weed's going to be legalized in New York State. And one of the things that we've talked about a lot on this podcast is that New York has kind of, New York and California are kind of the bellwethers for the United States politics, right? And so now that we've seen California and New York, likely we've seen California legalize it, and now New York likely to reach a deal as soon as I think like next week or something like that. So, and they were, yeah, exactly. And they actually, they actually would allow Amsterdam style cafes, as it says here. There's lounges, things like that, on-site consumption, which for people who aren't familiar, it's in Colorado. I've been to like one place where you could consume weed on site, and it was kind of sketchy, and it was like you paid like $5 and you were a member, and then you could like go in and like smoke weed in there, and it was like, okay, like I don't know why I would ever do that. But this seems to be like they're going to open up the door for like a real like bar kind of space, like the Amsterdam kind of hash bar vibe, which I think will be cool. But it's also going to immediately be like vacuumed up by the opulent unless the state intervenes. It's going to be extremely posh areas where Manhattan neighborhoods where dispensaries are located, and overpricing, that kind of thing, I would imagine. But as far as moving the cannabis legalization forward at a federal level, I think this is a good step.
Look at this bullshit, though. Tax revenue from weed sales would first go towards operations of the Office of Cannabis Management and police officer training to detect impaired driving.
Oh, that's fucked up.
How much funding do you need to fund training to detect impaired driving? Like, I mean, isn't that already part of the fucking police training to detect impaired driving? Like, their eyes are red, and I mean, it's pretty clear when someone's stoned. And if it's not pretty clear, then maybe you shouldn't be harassing fucking innocent citizens driving their fucking car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't worry, the rest of the money is gonna go. Some of the money is gonna go to school after we've spent as much of it as we fucking want to on the police department.
Yeah, because again, you got to make up for the money they're losing.
Not fucking harassing people.
Yep, and stealing their money. Because again, even this is something that's not talked about enough, but even those who aren't incarcerated for cannabis, even those that just are on probation or diversion, if you're younger, it's still massively expensive, and the state's basically just stealing thousands and thousands of your dollars, not to mention legal fees if you choose to get an attorney and try to lessen that blow, which usually just ends up being as expensive as the financial blow would be without a lawyer, because lawyers are expensive in and of themselves. So it's totally extremely regressive. And again, even if you're not sitting in a cell for cannabis, even if you just got arrested or caught with like a petty amount or paraphernalia or whatever, an illegal
order on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's still financially catastrophic if you're not relatively well off, or coming from a place of relative privilege. Again, if you're living to paycheck, it would fuck you.
Yeah, think about it. We know the statistic. What is it? 35 to 40% of American households don't have $400 in their bank account. Like, I mean, we're talking about like at least $2,500 if you get popped for something like possession, and that's in a state where it's not a disaster, right? Like, that's if you're getting like petty possession charges. Like, I mean, if you get pulled over with like a zip or two in your backseat, like, oof, then you're looking at real money too. And it's like, I mean, you know what I mean? And
yeah, exactly. Or worse, we're hopefully going to do.
But then you're looking at fucking jail if you're somewhere like Louisiana.
Yeah, exactly.
Kansas.
Right. And hopefully we're going to do a nice 420 special next month to really do a spotlight on cannabis justice and social justice and prison abolition and de-incarceration. I have a friend who, just like we were just talking about, got pulled over about 7 or 6 years ago. His friends had like a zip in the car. He wasn't even his, got sentenced to jail for 8 years.
Fucking crazy. And it would not have happened to a white guy.
No. Luckily he was able to get out 4 years in, thanks to, a miracle of his own making. He studied and was able to get himself out. But it's crazy that kind of shit happens.
Yeah, this dude argued his own fucking case, which is legendary.
Truly unbelievable. Yeah. But that kind of thing is just, it's criminal in and of itself that it's happening to people. It's a total violation of your human rights, and incarceration is arguably a form of torture. In and of itself, it is cruel and unusual to lock someone in a fucking box and you know, deprive them of sunlight and fucking vitamin D.
Just like we're doing to the children that we capture at the fucking border, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So we really need to rethink the way we even talk about and think about incarceration, at least as it, you know, is currently carried out. It's totally inhumane. It's totally disgusting.